Lilliput also has interactive and engaging escape rooms like the Haunted Mansion, the Bunker, or Night of the Wolf. Lilliput is perfect for parties and group events. Stop by lilliput.net for more information and hours of operation. Moonstone Minneapolis is a queer-owned, community-focused gift shop in South Minneapolis centered on curiosity, connection, and self-discovery. Explore astrology, tarot, crystals, herbs, mindfulness, and spiritual practices in a welcoming environment for all backgrounds and experience levels. Located at 3304 East Lake Street in Minneapolis, Moonstone Minneapolis also hosts makers markets, classes, and community events. Learn more at moonstoneMPLS.com and discover a welcoming place to explore with curiosity and respect.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Evening showers and thunderstorms possible, then clearing with an overnight low of 62. Then Thursday, another chance of showers and thunderstorms with a high of 76. Grab a tray at Cafe Latte and pick from their award-winning selections of soups, salads, sandwiches, and desserts. Cafe Latte is at Victoria Street and Grand Avenue in St. Paul or at cafelatte.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. What a fun night tonight's going to be. And I've been literally waiting probably about 3.5 years for this. And I don't want to get into all that again, but I'm just going to say one of the things that I originally thought with GhostBox Radio when conceiving it was talking about one of my favorite places, which is actually any of the Disney theme parks, Walt Disney World, Disneyland in particular, because let alone the fact that the storytelling really lent itself to some paranormal concepts. The parks themselves have received a number of eyewitness reports over the years of some kind of paranormal activity. Tonight, we're going to be focusing on Disneyland. Before I introduce my guest tonight, though, meanwhile, in Eden Prairie, we have Adam, who's taking care of business over there. How are you doing tonight?
Doing well tonight and super excited for this because like you, I dig Disney. I'm a big fan of, a lot of their films, a lot of their music. Unfortunately, I've never been to the parks. One of the things I've always wanted to do. So I am very stoked to hear about tonight's topic.
Absolutely. And the thing about Disneyland and Walt Disney World, I guess, is that the architecture really lends itself, even if it's meant to look like the happiest place on earth, that it's also really lends itself to being like a look of like high, paranormal sort of activity. Like anything can happen there. You can go from beautiful daytime, very welcoming, to at night being that kind of Disney spooky that only Disney can do, where it's spooky, but it's not terrifying, it's not horrifying. And I really think that the parks have always lent themselves to looking that way.
And that's why I want to get out there. I want to do, especially one of the fireworks nights out there where you're going down Main Street, and the lights are pretty much all out, just other than some ambient light. That to me would be my dream Disney destination, is walking Main Street at night.
Well, and before we bring on Aubrey, I just want to say real fast, when you get to October, and I know this is at Walt Disney World, I don't know if this is at Disneyland, there is a bit where there is a parade where the headless horseman comes through on a horse.
Cool.
Yeah, no, that's pretty incredible. And it's one of my favorite Disney stories, actually, too. Yeah, no, because it's that spooky thing we talk about that isn't isn't terrifying, isn't horrifying, but it's really cool and really well done and gets you really kind of in the mood for like Halloween or any of that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
I gotta get out there. That has made the bucket list, and that you told me that.
There you go, October. Now, our guest has written the book, The Unofficial Guide to Disneyland's Haunted Kingdom. And we're going to be talking about the book tonight. Though the caveat to this is because it's so popular, there isn't any editions currently available. That is going to change. We're going to talk about that as well. But I asked our guest, author Aubrey Graves, can we please talk about Haunted Disney, because I've been wanting to do this so long, and that I'd be happy to have her on talking about all of her other books we're going to talk about, and she graciously agreed. Aubrey, welcome to GhostBox Radio.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
I am so happy to have you on the show tonight. Thank you so very much. And as soon as I found your book, and we started talking a little while ago, even though it wasn't available, I had to go on eBay to get this, because this needed to be in my collection of haunted books and paranormal things. And we talked off air about my love for all things Disney. Now, as for you, I mean, is this like, to create this book, is this a lifelong love with Disney stuff as well for you?
Absolutely. Yeah. I've loved Disney stuff ever since I was a child. And I got really excited especially when I found out that Walt Disney was into the paranormal and loved it as well. And I found it very interesting when I was reading about how he actually wanted the Haunted Mansion ride to actually be haunted, and he wanted to invite real spirits in. And he even has a thing at the entrance of the ride that, welcomes the spirits.
Yes.
And so I just thought, this is so cool. And then when I found out that the place was haunted, and I started asking more people every time I'd go, I thought, there's so much information here. I could write a whole book about it, and I love Disney so much. I'm like, why not?
Why not? Now, is this your first book that you had written, or had you written other books before this?
Let's see. I believe this is my fourth book I wrote.
Wow.
And I wrote it after I went to Disneyland with my ex-husband. I spent 3 days going around and interviewing what they call cast members. It's the employees, they call them cast members there. And what was amazing is almost everyone there had something to say, even if it wasn't about, they didn't have a personal encounter, like they knew someone that did. I only had one person out of all the dozens of people I talked to laugh at me. Everybody else were like, oh yeah, I heard this and this, or, I saw this. It seemed like everybody had a story. And it seems like I found stories in every single land, and it seems like almost every ride. And of course, Walt haunts the place the most, which is understandable, especially because he was so into the paranormal, and he so why wouldn't he haunt Disneyland? It was his pride and joy.
And that's like my number one question is Walt there, which I would presume so. And, I honestly didn't really know about the paranormal side to Walt Disney, but I also thought, and Adam and I talked about this earlier in the day, about how, Disneyland was his park. I mean, Walt Disney World in his name, but that really kind of broke ground after he had passed in 1966. Disneyland, though, was his baby. And do you have any insight where, if there are sightings of Walt Disney and where he was mostly sighted in the park?
Yeah. So he had an apartment above the fire station on Main Street, and that was his special spot. That sometimes he would stay there overnight, but mostly it was just his place he would hang out. And one of my favorite stories actually about the park is, so he had this lamp that was sitting in the window, and he'd have it on. And whenever he had it on, any cast member knew, that was kind of his way of saying, don't bother me, I'm here, Mm-hmm. And so after he passed away, they still would have the lamp on during the day in his memory, but they would turn it off at night. So I don't even know exactly when this was, maybe 80s or 90s, but this woman was cleaning his apartment, and so when she was done, she turns off the light and she comes down the stairs and she goes outside and she looks back over at the window of his apartment above the fire station, and she noticed the light was off. She thought, that's kind of weird. Okay, I'm pretty sure I turned that off. So she goes back up, turns it off again, comes back down, looks, it turns on again. And so since then, they have kept that light going nonstop. They've never turned it off. And it's also just a way of saying that he's always there.
That he's always there. Oh, that gives me goosebumps. I think that's great. I also had one, and funny enough, and Adam, I called it. I said he's going to be up in his apartment.
You know what? I chuckled so hard when she said that, because that's exactly where you said he would be this afternoon. We were talking about this.
That's what I thought, at least. So I'm happy to hear that. And also, I had thought, Aubrey, that perhaps he'd be seen maybe sometimes early in the morning, like walking down Main Street or something. And anyone ever seen anything like that?
So what I know is, what I've heard and when I've spoken to people, is they've seen him riding the Disneyland train, the railroad that goes around the park, in and near the Sleeping Beauty Castle, and walking through the gates of Sleeping Beauty Castle. One of the coolest paranormal videos I've actually ever seen, and I don't know if it's online anymore, because honestly, I wrote this book almost 15 years ago. But there's this video of him, I believe it's him. It looks just like him. Someone took a video of the Snow White grotto. That's like the little waterfall that's right next to the Sleeping Beauty Castle, and it has Snow White and 7 dwarfs and like a whole waterfall thing. And clearly you can see a man sitting there, and it looks so much like him. It totally totally creeped me out. I totally believe that it was him. He's also been seen on Pirates of the Caribbean, which is understandable because he was very excited about making that ride, and then he passed away a few years before it was made. So many of the rides took so long to make because, they were so detailed. He's been seen in Club 33 a lot, and especially in the Golden Horseshoe. And that's one of the most haunted spots in the whole park. But he's been, and a lot of people say that they've smelt his cigars or cigarettes. He was a chain smoker. So, and especially now, there's no smoking permitted anywhere on the property. So a lot of times, like, especially after hours, cast members will, all of a sudden get a whiff of smoke, or especially like inside the Golden Horseshoe, and they're like, oh, it must be Walt. And then he's also been seen on the boats as well, the Mark Twain. Oh, and the Tiki Room. He's been seen in the Tiki Room too.
That's one of his favorites.
Yeah, and it's kind of creepy because they say that the birds will like move and make noise. Like, cast members have said after they turned everything off, like all of a sudden we'll see a bird turn its head or something.
Oh, that's great. Oh my gosh, that's great. And okay, so I said the apartment. Adam said Sleeping Beauty's castle. So we're both on par there. And Aubrey, I have to tell the quick story about Walt Disney when it comes to smoking, because that's right. He was such a chain smoker, and he one day, I don't think this was at Disneyland. I think this was at the Disney Studios, and he walks in on a set smoking, and someone looks at him, not recognizing him, says, "Hey, you can't smoke in here." And Walt replied, "Who says?" And they said, "Walt Disney." And he's like, "That's good enough for me." And he puts out the cigarette and walks out. So yeah, he was a big smoker. Yeah, I mean, it was what killed him, quite honestly. So yeah, I mean, there is that. How cool! I got to check out that video, Aubrey, of that of and see if I can find it, of him being over by Snow White's the Snow White Grotto, because that would be oh man.
Yeah, I can try to find the link and send it to you. It's pretty cool. It really does look like him.
David Leonard, who we've had on the program ourselves before, and a big Disney guy. Him and his wife love it, and they go out to Disney World. He says there was a video of Walt at the base of the railway stairs in Town Square too. Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, links, David, so we can all enjoy that, please. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, no, I would be all about that. And nowadays though, because he's gotten so popular again, I would worry if I'm at Disneyland and I see someone that looked like Walt Disney. I would first think it's somebody who's purposely trying to punk me is what I'm thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope not.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
I'd love to see him.
Same. I just think it's so great too how he was so into the paranormal. One of my favorite quotes that he says is, "We're going to have ghosts from all over the world. Well, we haven't gotten the ghost in yet. We're out collecting the ghosts, and we're making it very attractive for them, hoping they're going to want to come and stay at Disneyland. So we guarantee creaking doors and creaking floors."
It is, and this, if I'm not mistaken, when he's talking about the Haunted Mansion too, it was before they decided on the Omni Movers for the ride mechanism. So there was a point, right, that I think the Haunted Mansion was meant to be like a walkthrough, and I don't remember when it became. Yeah. I love that stuff. Aubrey, why don't we go ahead and do this? I want to take our first break, get that in there. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the other places. You kind of touched on like Club 33, talking about New Orleans Square. Let's talk about some of the other areas, and just talk about what people might have been seeing in these places as well. Plus, folks, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. We'd love to see them. Or if you've been to any of these parks and you might have ran into something that you can't quite explain, let us know about that too. Don't go anywhere, folks. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Moonstone Minneapolis is a queer-owned, community-focused gift shop in South Minneapolis centered on curiosity, connection, and self-discovery. Explore astrology, tarot, crystals, herbs, mindfulness, and spiritual practices in a welcoming environment for all backgrounds and experience levels. Located at 3304 East Lake Street in Minneapolis, Moonstone Minneapolis also hosts makers markets, classes, and community events. Learn more at moonstoneMPLS.com and discover a welcoming place to explore with curiosity and respect. Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com. Greg Bakun here. It's nice to get out of the Twin Cities and take some travel excursion to some great locations. Minnesota has so much to offer, which is why I love traveling down to Wabasha and staying at the historic Anderson House Hotel. Opened in 1856, this beautiful hotel offers comfortable accommodations, has a delicious restaurant, and even a speakeasy in the basement to unwind with a drink. Located next to the Mississippi River and on Main Street, there is a lot of sightseeing and shopping to do too. To get more information, go to theandersonhousehotel.com. Looking for something different for family fun, a night out with friends, or your next team building event? Try the escape rooms at Lilliput. Step into the Haunted Mansion, race to find a cure in the bunker, or survive Night of the Wolf, all with just 60 minutes to escape. It's private, immersive, and perfect for groups of all kinds. Book your adventure now, spots fill fast. Visit lilliput.net and see if your team has what it takes to escape. Greg Bakun here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are, but now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis's haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information. And I want to pass along a AM 950 programming note. Tomorrow on The Gailey Show, which is from 2 to 3, and hope that you've been watching it and listening to it. They have a big show tomorrow. It's really exciting, actually. They have, and they're going to interview for the entire hour, Secretary of State Steve Simon. It's going to be the full hour tomorrow. They're going to be talking about protecting the November elections, what safeguards are Secretary Simon implementing to protect Minnesota voters, MIT voting index, also how to register to vote for primaries, general, including automatic registration, and then unpacking how automatic registration works, its successes, how Minnesota implemented it, and its impacts thus far for the state. Going to talk about the Minnesota ballot, and then work that Secretary Steve Simon has done to support the LGBTQ plus community, including the business service divisions. Like I said, this is a big one for them, and it's going to be really well worth your time to do so. Once again, that is The Gailey Show, hosted by John Parker and Jim Pounds. That is from 2 to 3 tomorrow, but don't just watch tomorrow. Keep watching. Go get it podcasted, watch the YouTube version, do whatever, support that. And don't forget, after that at 3 p.m., it's the Matt McNeil Show, 3 to 5. And then at 5 to 6, it is Native Roots with Robert Pilot. A great lineup you do not want to miss out, especially to stay in touch with what's going on in Minnesota. I also want to quickly say tomorrow night at Divine Lights in Anoka, Minnesota, we're going to be doing a paranormal investigation as we do once a month. Go to charvinity.com and go to events and classes. You get tickets there. It's from 6 to 9 tomorrow night. It's a guided paranormal investigation. That place is becoming active, and we would love to host you there, have you come out, check it out, and interact with spirits. I think you're going to really enjoy it. And if that's not enough for paranormal investigation with Shar and myself, we are going to be at the Pillsbury Club this Friday from 9 to 11. We are going to be doing this absolutely wonderful paranormal investigation, and it's going to be in a different part of the mansion than we were last time, which was a couple weeks back, because it is so big. We can go wherever we want as long as the rooms are open. So every single time is a different paranormal investigation. Come on out. There are some equipment that you can use, starter equipment, but it's a great time. Go to MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com to get tickets for that. And then on Saturday, I just want to let everyone know that AM 950 is broadcasting from Golden Valley Pride from 1 to 4. So please check out the lineup there. It's all of our favorite shows that are going to be on from 1 to 4. And we have a presence at Golden Valley Pride. We're going to have a tent out there. We're going to be giving some stuff away. Come on by, say hello. There are people there that would love to meet you. It's going to be a great week and a lot of stuff going on. With that being said, I also want to draw your attention to our guest, Aubrey Graves. She has a website. I want to send you her way. The website is aubgraves.com, AUBGRAVES.com. When you go there, first of all, you have this great picture of Bigfoot and all these wonderful mystical figures there, but it's also going to break down her books that she has, as well as about herself and everything else. Aubrey, have you been busy with writing? Because it sounds like you have a number of books that are going to be coming out.
Yeah, definitely. I'm working on, 3 different books right now. I find it more fun to do, 2 or 3 at once. That way, if I get bored of one, I can work on the other one.
Yeah.
So I've been working on these 3 for a while now. And so that's going to be my 13th, 14th, and 15th book that I'm working on right now. I'm working on an ultimate. Sorry.
I could barely read a book, and you've written 15 books. I don't get it. It's incredible. it takes something for people to write books. It's
used to
incredible.
say I
Yeah.
was possessed. I sometimes I think someone possessed me. I don't know. I think the spirits want me to write. I've had psychics actually see me, and they said, they didn't know I was an author, and they said, "Why is there an endless line of ghosts behind you?" And I'm like, it's probably the spirits that want their story told.
Probably, and it's odd because you have cleaned out the haunted mansion with 1,001 spirits. They're all with you. They're not at the mansion any longer for whatever reason. So don't go on the ride. That's all I'm going to say. Let's see here.
No, they're definitely still there.
I got a couple things here. Once again, David Leonard says we've also had experience with George, the ghost of the Pirates of the Caribbean in Walt Disney World. Okay, I don't know about that one. This queer book, who is actually, I believe it's Jim from the Gailey Show, says, have the sightings of Walt happened consistently since 1966? Or do you think it's more just sort of sporadic?
I think it's more sporadic, but I'm not positive about that. Yeah, a lot of people, they didn't give me dates a lot of times about stuff, and they didn't even really know. So I'm not so sure about that. And I wanted to mention too, there is so many spirits at Disneyland, and it's not just Walt. And the majority of the spirits there, they didn't die there. And I wanted to point out too, you don't have to die in a place to haunt it. Obviously, I mean, Walt Disney didn't die there, right? But a lot of people think, oh, well, why is it haunted? No one died there, about another place. And it's like the majority of the spirits that I've written about, they just haunt the place that they love the most. And, everybody loves Disneyland, or, a lot of people do. And so, of course, they want to go and haunt the happiest place on earth. So there are spirits in Disneyland that did unfortunately die. I believe all of them were cast members. But majority of them are just people that just loved it and loved being there. And a lot of them seem to be little kids, which totally makes sense.
Well, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's some ghost at Disneyland is charging these ghosts admission, because Disney does not really let anyone into anywhere for free. So, I'm sure.
That's the funny thing. That's the one thing, he actually has a sign outside the Haunted Mansion that says it's free. And I wish I had the sign in front of me so I could read it to you. And even said when they were making the Haunted Mansion, one of his quotes is, "We'll take care of the outside and the ghosts will take care of the inside." That's
great. I love that. I love that. Do you know? And now I'm putting you on the spot. So if you don't know, that's totally fine. But you mentioned other spirits there, and there is some really big names at Disney that were part of the 9 Old Men or Marty Sklar or any people like that. Have you ever heard of any people in those echelons people seeing any spirits of them or anything in Disney?
No, I haven't. Everyone that I've talked to, it's always like they see a little boy named Timmy or something like that. I guess it used to be an orchard, and before Disneyland was there, it was an orange orchard or something.
Yes, it was.
And so a little boy supposedly died there. Sorry?
An orange grove. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And so a little boy supposedly died there, and he's known to haunt Disneyland, particularly the Haunted Mansion, which totally makes sense. And that is by far the most haunted spot, which it's understandable. But there's people that say that they've seen ghosts walk through the walls, walk through the gates. That's another video I was going to tell you about that's really awesome that you got to check out on YouTube.
Okay.
Some of the security guards notice ghosts walking straight through the gate. You can see it. It's like a glowing spirit that just goes straight through the metal gates. It's pretty amazing.
That's pretty amazing. So you're saying that the most
supposedly.
No, please go ahead. Please finish. Go ahead.
Okay. So supposedly the Ouija board that's beneath Madame Leota in the seance room in the Haunted Mansion was used for real seances. Like they Disney wanted this to be as authentic as he could. So he really wanted the ghosts to come there. And I think he did a good job doing it. And then also there's like rumors of people spreading ashes. That's very, very common. You're not supposed to,
No.
but a lot of people ask, because they love Disney so much, pour my ashes in this ride or pour it into the river there by Tom Sawyer Island.
Well, that's one quick, easy way. I mean, I was going to say inexpensive, but you still have to pay to get into Disneyland, and that is not cheap. So it is probably more cost effective just to bury the person, I think. So here's the question. Did you say that the Haunted Mansion is the most haunted place in Disneyland?
Yeah, well, it has the most ghosts.
Has the most
ghosts. Definitely has. I believe it has the most activity. Like when when I look back at all my notes, most of the places only have a couple pages of incidences, and the Haunted Mansion has like 10. So,
okay.
And I had a friend. She wasn't even a believer in the haunt or in the paranormal until she had an incident while riding the ride in the Haunted Mansion one time. And now she's a paranormal investigator. But when she was on the ride, her and her husband were riding it sitting in the doom buggy, and all of a sudden she feels something grab both her shoulders, like they were grabbing her from the front of her. And she knew that, it couldn't, whatever grabbed her, like she would have seen it because it was on both sides of her shoulders. She could feel it. And so she was totally freaked out and trying to think of, what it could be. And then finally she was like, it had to have been something paranormal.
Yeah.
And that's actually what opened her mind to the whole paranormal thing. So I thought that was kind of neat.
That's really neat. Honestly, I think that's actually cruel in a sense of you're in a haunted house, a haunted mansion, and something paranormal happens to you inside that. I mean, that's like having a tornado hit at night. It's just really, it's unfair actually. Cause it's just really a little bit too much. And she actually was so shooken up. She talked to a couple of cast members and asked them, like, do you guys have people jumping out at us? And they said, of course not. And then they said that there's actually been people that have felt touched there. And then also, once again, like she thought about it and she's like, well, those doom buggies, they have sightings. There's no way that someone could reach out to. She would have seen the person touching both her shoulders. Oh yeah.
But she was pretty shooken up about it.
Wouldn't it be cool?
So I thought that was kind of neat.
Wouldn't it be cool, Aubrey, if that bit at the end where you're in the haunted mansion and it takes a picture of you and your doom buggy and it has one of the Disneyland ghosts in there, but instead you get a picture and there's something else in there with you? Wouldn't that be something?
Oh, yeah. It's so funny that you say that, because when I was there interviewing people for 3 days, I went on that ride so many times and I took so many pictures at the mirrors, hoping that same thing. So I'm right there with you.
And I think I love
surprised if somebody had that happen to them.
I am too, actually. And you got to wonder if some people just maybe it has happened, but some people just don't quite understand that it has happened. You know what I mean? Where they're just like, oh, that's an interesting looking one. We have Jim in the comments who has an unhealthy fascination with death for some reason. He says 32 people have died at the Anaheim facility, including the resort, since 1964, according to an Orange County attorney, including natural causes. There you go. So,
oh wow,
that's interesting. I didn't
even add the natural causes in. Like I mostly just added in like the people that, like the horrible deaths. That someone that like took their seatbelt off the Matterhorn and tried to switch seats and flew out of their seat and ran over by the oncoming car, or a guy got beheaded on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad standing up.
God.
Horrible things like that. I didn't even think about the people that just died of natural causes either.
And Jim's kind of list of horrendous tragedies at Disneyland continues as he says the first was a 15-year-old boy who fell from the Matterhorn. Oh my God! I mean that's not cool. That's not a good death. That's not good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the Matterhorn. There's a lot of spirits that have been seen there. He's probably talking about. So that boy has actually been seen with a hood on, and he doesn't have a face. And some cast members have seen him on the ride, and other people have seen him on the ride, and then he just disappears. And then there's another lady that died, and her name's Dolly. And they actually have a certain spot on the ride they call Dolly's Dip, because that was right where she fell and got killed.
Oh,
kind of creepy.
that is crazy. Someone else in comment, as you just said, Tracy says, and hi Tracy. Tracy says that that boy has been seen many times. So that's as you know, Aubrey, as a paranormal investigator, that's what we always look for, right? It's a validation, right? That multiple people are being able to talk about it.
Right. Yeah. But once again, I really truly feel like majority of the spirits there are happy. Like one of my favorite stories is not even that long, but it's just about a cast member after hours walking around after dark. All of a sudden she looks over and she can hear laughter at Tom Sawyer Island. And she's like, what the heck? There's nobody over there. And then the janitor looks at her. The janitor's walking by and he's like, oh, you hear the ghost kids laughing?
I love it.
I feel like people haunt where they love what they love the most, and Disneyland is definitely one of those places. People are said to put their loved ones' ashes in their socks, actually, and I've read that like they'll cut their socks in a way to where the ashes will fall out, so they're walking around Disneyland and the person's ashes are just going all over the place. Or some people will just have their ashes dumped on a certain ride, and people have actually gotten in big trouble for that and had the ride shut down. One of the most famous ones, I think it all started with I think it's Timmy. I think there's a couple Timmys, of course, little Timmy, right?
That's like a great Disney name, isn't it, for a boy?
What's up?
That's a great Disney name for a boy, anyway, Timmy.
Right. They dumped little Timmy's ashes in the Haunted Mansion.
God. It'd be my luck is that somebody is like dumping some ashes, somewhere, and they all like land on me when I'm walking around, and I'm not up for that. Not one bit.
Yeah.
Or my luck is I bring in somebody's ashes and I get them confiscated. So all that ends up happening is it get dumped in a garbage can, so I think I'll pass on that. But Aubrey, why don't we do this? Let's take a break. When we come back, I want to continue this conversation. I'm loving this. People in the comments are loving this, and there's still some more we want to get through as well. So folks, don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. It's nice to get out of the Twin Cities and take some travel excursion to some great locations. Minnesota has so much to offer, which is why I love traveling down to Wabasha and staying at the historic Anderson House Hotel. Opened in 1856, this beautiful hotel offers comfortable accommodations, has a delicious restaurant, and even a speakeasy in the basement to unwind with a drink. Located next to the Mississippi River and on Main Street, there is a lot of sightseeing and shopping to do too. To get more information, go to the AndersonHouseHotel.com. It's that time of year where the weather is getting nice and it's time to get out of the house for some family fun. Lily Putt is open for the season, and you know what that means. Lily Putt is known for its mini golf, go-karts, glow golf, jump pads, kiddie carts, gem mining, and even a new arcade. Lily Putt also has interactive and engaging escape rooms like the Haunted Mansion, the Bunker, or Night of the Wolf. Lily Putt is perfect for parties and group events. Stop by lilyputt.net for more information and hours of operation. Moonstone Minneapolis is a queer-owned, community-focused gift shop in South Minneapolis centered on curiosity, connection, and self-discovery. Explore astrology, tarot, crystals, herbs, mindfulness, and spiritual practices in a welcoming environment for all backgrounds and experience levels. Located at 3304 East Lake Street in Minneapolis, Moonstone Minneapolis also hosts makers markets, classes, and community events. Learn more at moonstonempls.com and discover a welcoming place to explore with curiosity and respect. Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville. Greg Bakun here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are, but now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis's haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information. And join me tomorrow on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. We're going to do the next installment of Paranormal Festivus, and my special guest tomorrow for that is going to be the one and only Ernie Pack from Pac-Man Paranormal, Fort Duffield. And I have to say, though, my thoughts are with him and Denise. Their beautiful little dog, Red, had passed away this week. And as you have heard me go on and on and on about Linus, when Linus passed away, for me, that, just the emptiness, of having this little ball of love and energy and suddenly not there anymore is one of those things that they're dealing with right now. I don't wish that on anybody. And so if Ernie just wants to take some time and not come on tomorrow, we totally understand that as well. But that is what we're currently looking at for tomorrow is Paranormal Festivus, where we kind of do a little jab at some of the things that annoy us in the field a little bit, lightheartedly, of course. And Ernie, I'm sure, has, especially managing along with Denise, such a place as Fort Duffield. I'm sure he has plenty that he wants to talk about as well. So that's tomorrow. Casual Friday, of course. Make sure you join us for that as well. So lots of good stuff coming up. We have with us tonight author Aubrey Graves. We're talking about Haunted Disneyland, but I want to read her book again, the title of her book, because once it becomes available, you will want to get this. It is lavishly illustrated with lots of pictures. It is a beautiful book, and the book is called The Unofficial Guide to Disneyland's Haunted Kingdom. And Aubrey, do you have social media that you want to kind of push people to so they know when the book is available again, or is it just through your site, or how would you like people to go check that out?
Yeah, I would just say go to my website, and hopefully it's going to be up within a few months. I feel bad that it wasn't up now. It would have been awesome to already had it out for everyone to enjoy. I actually, when I first published the book in 2012, I had a color edition. I'm guessing did you get the color one or the black and white edition? I
got the color. They must have known my high standing in the paranormal radio community, so they must have sent me the color one, of course. But,
okay, good.
Yeah,
okay, good. Yeah. Because that was just like a one-time thing, and I'm not working with that editor, or I'm sorry, that publisher anymore. So now it's just going to be black and white. The pictures are still cool, though. I mean, I spent so much time going around and taking pictures and trying to make them look extra spooky.
Yeah, these are great.
But hopefully within a few months. So if people just want to check into my website, aubgraves.com, and I'll keep everyone updated when the book will be ready again.
And when the book is ready, do you want to come back on and we can keep talking more Haunted Disney?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there's so many stories. I could talk for a long time about all the stuff that I've all the information I've gotten. I love when I would speak to certain people and all the stories they would tell me. Like, I spoke to one Disneyland employee, and she said that she saw a photograph of a ghost that was captured in front of Thunder Mountain in October of 2011. She said it was a photo of a little girl with blonde hair and a Victorian dress holding a little teddy bear. And soon after she got the photo of the apparition, she contacted a psychic who claimed to be able to see spirits and would come to the park and talk to the little girl. And she said that the psychic said that she actually found the little girl and spoke to her. And the little girl was so happy being there. Like, the psychic was trying to get her to cross over, and she had no interest of leaving, the happiest place on earth.
That's so cute. That's actually really cute, isn't it? The only ghost I've ever seen at Disneyland was the ghost of my bank account when we used to have money in it, and then going to Disneyland, it just sort of disappeared. So
oh boy,
never seen it again. I'll be honest. I was telling actually Adam today about Walt Disney World, is that I have no interest in going back to Walt Disney World again ever since they took out the Rivers of America in Walt Disney World. To me, that seems, no.
That's one of my favorite spots. That's one of the best spots there. That's where I've never been to Walt Disney World, honestly. So I've been to Disneyland probably, at least 20 times. I live in Santa Cruz, California. And a lot of my family live in Orange County, and I just loved Disneyland. And when I was married, we went there for our honeymoon. We were there for 5 days, and a lot of times when I go there, I'll go for do the 3-day pass, because I just love it so much. You can't do everything in one day, and really enjoy everything. So.
And like I said, I've only been to Disneyland once, and I immediately loved it. I mean this in the kindest way. It's in a way, it's sort of a kind of forgive me, a trashier version of the Magic Kingdom in Florida, because it's certainly it's so compact, and Disneyland seemed to be run more like an amusement park for the longest time, or a theme park, opposed to like a vacation destination. I know that's changed now because they created it to be with California Adventure and everything, but there was a charm to Disneyland. And also knowing that I'm walking the same streets that Walt Disney walked was
exactly
incredible.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I wasn't so interested in Walt Disney World too, because I just love what, like you said, about it being Walt's place.
Yeah,
that means a lot.
Yes.
To me, at least.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. Now, I want to talk quickly, because I thought another place that was going to be pretty active, or that the people would have seen a lot, would be like the Pirates of the Caribbean. Is that another hot spot?
It is. And that's actually one of the places that I have felt a lot of energy as well. And actually, Walt Disney's ghost has been seen on there. Now that I think about it, oh man, it's been so long. I'm wondering if I wrote in the book where he was seen. I'm sorry, I wrote this so long ago that
really good. This is fun.
Let's see. A little boy is occasionally seen riding in one of the boats, and cast members will say that they see his apparition in like the video monitors, but then when the boat arrives, there's nobody in it. Let's see. It just says that I just wrote that Walt Disney's apparition has been appeared occasionally around the attraction, generally after hours. Yeah, I guess I didn't put as much as I figured I had more about that. I guess not. Just a little boy, I guess. But there's a lot of energy in there.
I bet. Yeah, I wonder if like the fake lightning even plays a part in that a little bit. You know what I mean? Because there's that lightning and there's all the like the cannonballs and everything that kind of going through there. I mean, there is a lot happening in that place.
Right. Totally.
Let's see here. Tracy.
I agree.
Tracy in the comments says his ghost was above the bridge outside the entrance and then in the Blue Bayou restaurant. Tracy, are you talking about Walt Disney? Because I'm presuming so, but let me know one way or the other. We have about 5.5, 6 minutes left here. And I just remember the first time I'd been in the Pirates of the Caribbean, just as a small kid, just being blown away. Because one thing that I just thought was so amazing was looking up, and because of the way that there's so much fog and stuff, that it didn't look like that there was a ceiling to the building. It just looked like sky. And that just me as a kid was just like, God, this is so amazing. I really feel like I am been transported to this place. Now, has there been any like ghosts that tried to murder any of the It's a Small World animatronics?
It's funny because that's one of the creepiest ones ever, I think, honestly. Like, I would not want to be in there after hours at all. There's been cast members that said that they've actually like seen the dolls like move around or like say something that they're not supposed to say after hours. You know, like they turn the stuff off, but all of a sudden, like one will just move around by itself.
God,
yeah, no need.
the stuff of nightmares, quite honestly.
Right.
Oh my gosh. And I could see it totally happening too, you know. And there's, I mean, I don't remember how many little animatronics are in there, but there's
289, and it's a 14-minute ride.
Now, Jim, with more horrific facts, he seems to think that we need to talk about death the whole time, which we do. He says 6 people committed suicide in the parking garage, perhaps because
they jumped off. Yeah, I've heard about that.
And he said perhaps because they could not find their cars. So what are we doing? I'm laughing at some people. What's wrong with me? I'm laughing. Oh my God, Jim, you're a monster. So
wow, just because they couldn't find their cars, man.
No, I'm hoping that's not true. I mean, but I get frustrated pretty quickly, so I could have been right there with them. But honestly, yeah, that's crazy.
I would guess maybe they already felt like they wanted to pass, and they're like, might as well pass here, which is kind of messed up though, because you know, little kids. I mean, I don't know about you, but that's not something I'd want to see at Disneyland. Is someone's brains like all over the pavement, you know.
I love it. I don't know about you, but I don't want to see that. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that, Aubrey. I don't want to see that either. But you know, the thing is, the thing about that too is simply that you know, that's a cruel mind too, to be like, I want to end my life and I'm going to do it at Disneyland. You know, I mean, that's just
right.
That's messed up. That's just not good.
It is. Let's traumatize all these little children.
Oh, yeah.
I guess people that really don't like Disneyland would do that. I mean, that would definitely make an impact, right? I think most people, I probably, if I saw someone do something like that, I probably wouldn't like Disneyland anymore.
And that's just it. And you, as you mentioned before we got on the air, you know now that there's people that don't like anything Disney, and you know they have a vendetta, and they might take it out on everybody. It's like, I don't like it, therefore no one should, sort of mentality as well.
Right.
So I just want to quickly remind folks, please visit Aubrey's website, aubgraves.com, AUBGRAVES.com. And Aubrey, I want to take a moment to thank you for being the first person on the show that we did not have to kick off the show talking about Disney because they didn't know they didn't understand how radio works. We've had problems before getting people to actually talk about this subject for some reason, and you are the first person to do it and do it well. So thank you very much. If I had an applause sound effect, I would give it to you right now.
Oh, well, thank you.
Right, Adam? I mean, I'm not making this up.
He is not kidding. He is not kidding. We've been trying for years.
Did they just not stop talking? Didn't stop talking, or what was the deal?
We'll tell you off air. For legal reasons. So,
Okay,
Aubrey,
cool. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We got to get out of here. I'll give it up to the next show, but what a great conversation. Let's do it again, okay?
Yes, definitely. Happy hauntings.
Absolutely. And I'll be back tomorrow with Ernie Pack. Everyone, have a fantastic night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, Minnesota, it's your favorite sexy liberal. Join me and my fellow cohorts in liberal